Okay, so वेलकम टू IIT बॉम्बे डिज़ाइन क्रैश कोर्स. सो मैंने ये ओरिजिनली स्टार्ट किया था आउट ऑफ सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट, जस्ट टू टीच अ फ्यू थिंग्स दैट आई नो. लोगों को जनरली फोटोशॉप सीखना था, बट देन आई डेवलप दीज 2-3 मॉड्यूल्स ऑफ थिंग्स दैट आई थॉट आई कैन टीच. सो आज का सेशन विजुअल ब्रांडिंग के ऊपर है, राइट. सो आई होप दैट everyone knows basics of Photoshop, or even if you don't, it's okay. A majority of today's exercise is going to be on paper. So as I go through the session, तुम लोग कुछ ना कुछ कर लेना पेपर पे. I'll keep telling you what you guys should go through. But for the entire thing to like for you to do visual branding right up till the end, you will need some sort of graphic software. I use Photoshop. So मैंने इस सेशन के पहले थोड़ा बेसिक्स ऑफ फोटोशॉप सिखाया था व्हेन आई हैड टेकन इट लास्ट. सो या, इफ़ यू नो फोटोशॉप और इलस्ट्रेटर और व्हाटएवर, वो बेटर रहेगा. ठीक है. सो टुडे वी लर्न विजुअल ब्रांडिंग. आई एम श्योर सब लोगों ने इन सम वे और द अदर कोई ना कोई विजुअल ब्रांडिंग के साथ इंटरेक्ट किया है. इफ़ यू कम अक्रॉस दिस एज अ डिज़ाइनर, इफ़ यू आर गोइंग टू मेक ब्रांडिंग और in other words say किसी कंपनी का लोगो, most of the times the kind of problem statement that you will come across is कि ये XYZ company and you have to design the branding for it, design the logo for it and so on, right? And typically the kind of logo that you will probably design, if one of you has to go ahead and design, is logos for startups maybe. Another kind is that you can do branding for yourself. ठीक है. You can also do rebranding. किसी कंपनी या स्टार्टअप का ऑलरेडी एक लोगो है, ऑलरेडी एक आइडेंटिटी गाइडलाइन सेट है. यू कैन जस्ट गो अहेड एंड रीफ्रेम ऑल ऑफ दोज एंड मेक न्यू आइडेंटिटी गाइडलाइंस. लास्ट ईयर काफ़ी फेमस रीब्रांडिंग एक्सरसाइजेस हुए लाइक ऑल अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. गूगल वॉज वन ऑफ देम, एयरबीएनबी हैपेंड, इंस्टाग्राम जो वन ऑफ द बैड वंस. ठीक है. बट एनीवेज, सो आई थिंक एवरीवन गेट्स अ फेयर आइडिया ऑफ व्हाट ब्रांडिंग इज एंड व्हाट इट इज़ अबाउट, राइट. सो the way I would prefer today's session to go is मैं steps बताऊंगा which I feel is a good enough way to go about any branding exercise, but ठीक है, मतलब उसमें obviously outliers हो सकते हैं. So I'll go through all these steps that I feel are correct, and you guys keep designing as we go alongside. So what I would suggest is सब लोग अपना अपना एक self branding exercise करते हैं, right? Which means that you guys design a brand for yourselves. A lot of times what designers do is they make a brand out of themselves. Say if my name is Mayuresh Patle, I will just create a brand for myself. I'll design how I'm writing my name each time. I'll design a visiting card for myself and so on, right? Just to keep everything consistent and just for like feel good factor. So what I would suggest is सब लोग अपने नाम का एक brand बना लो, या if anyone has a company in mind that they want to brand, feel free to go ahead with that. Generic steps follow होंगे. ठीक है. Good. So first off, a lot of people think that branding is logo, and that is why I said कि whenever you face a problem statement, generally यही सुनोगे कि मेरे कंपनी के लिए लोगो डिज़ाइन कर दे या एक लोगो डिज़ाइन कर दो. But branding is not just a logo. Of course, it is a very big part of the entire exercise, but it has a lot of other aspects too. ठीक है. So it has typography. There are so many concepts. You have to do a market analysis. So there is a strategic aspect to branding, and there is a design aspect. Of course, we will focus more on the design aspect, but you cannot overlook the strategic aspect of it. Okay? Right. So let's look at what are the other things that are involved, and we'll look at everything from a broad view. Okay? Okay. Step 1. Most of the times what you'll think is step 1 is understanding your client, but it's not. Step 1 is understanding the customers of the client, or in this case, if we are doing self branding, it is understanding your customers, or if it is not customers, then just who is your target audience. Okay? So for example, if you are designing your own brand right now, take your name and design a brand around it, who would you want to show this to? Okay? If you are making a VC, who would you give it to? That is your target audience, right? So think about things that will identify your target audience. So for example, a few checklists or a few lists that you should probably make before thinking about your brand is, what is the name, what is the meaning of this name, or which part of this name do you want to design your brand upon. Okay? So if my name is Mayuresh Patole, which it is, I will design it around just Patole. That would be my decision. This is completely your decision. Sometimes it's the client's decision also, but ठीक है. So decide the name of your brand right now, like actually do it right now. ठीक है. Then what you do, what is the part or what is the service that you offer that you want to show through this brand. So for example, say I am a painter. I would want that meaning to come across in my visual branding exercise. ठीक है. Or maybe I wouldn't want it to. ठीक है. For example, Apple makes computers or computer hardware or whatever. It is a hardware manufacturer. It doesn't really get that meaning across through its logo, right? It doesn't. It's just like an Apple. So you may choose not to get that across. There are other things that it probably gets across through its logo, the attention to simplicity and so on, right? But make sure you note down what you do, and then you can possibly compare, think about, deliberate on what you want to show through your logo, and then go ahead, right? Who are the customers, like we discussed? Who is your target group? Whom do you want to show this to? What are the mediums that they will typically interact with you? So VC, as I said, visiting card would be one medium, right? It is a print medium. Maybe you want to use your logo on a blogging website that you write. Maybe you want to make an icon out of your logo that you will use for the app that you have, right? It'd be very creepy to have apps of people, but okay, if you have a company and you want to make and so on, right? Is there a tagline? A lot of times if you have a tagline which is like an entire sentence, it becomes much more easy to make a logo or make a mark out of that tagline, right? Because it has the meaning is much more evident as against line. But it's again not compulsory to have a tagline of your own. Are there any other constraints or requirements? So a lot of times what happens is there are some constraints due to the mediums, especially. For example, if you are making a logo for an app, right? You want it to look good on the app screen, right? You want it to have all those attributes that make it look good on the app screen. If it is a website, that like if your product is a website, you want it to look good when it becomes really small, so that even when it is on top on your website, it's going to be visible and it's going to look just fine, right? So think about any constraints or any requirements that you might have. This will just help you build a more robust design for your logo or your branding guideline and so on. Now remember that once you make this list, I am sure there are other questions that you might want to answer, but remember that once you make this list, start thinking about concepts. So that is the next step, but I would give you like 5 minutes to think about the branding that you want to build today, and just list out these few parameters that you think are qualify your brand, right? Alongside these questions, this is like a basic requirement for you to go ahead. Alongside these questions, start thinking about what your brand should represent. Like focus on the first two questions. What is it that you want to show? What is it that you associate with your brand? So when I was doing my self branding exercise, what I started writing out was, I wrote 5 things that I want, like that I might myself identify myself as, right? So I said that I have this OCD for organization, so I wrote that down. I said that I really love simple design, but at the same time it should be slightly youthful. So I wrote all these things down that I feel sort of tell me who I am. So you guys should also write those things down when you are answering the first 2 questions, right? Okay. So 5 minutes on the clock, and then we'll go ahead. If anyone has a question, feel free to ask me right now. So you can also just design a branding identity without mentioning the service that you're going to offer, without making it professional. It's going to be more challenging to do that because it won't really have a central theme or topic to it, but you can obviously do that. Just brand yourself as a person, strip away all the qualifications that you have, engineer, designer, etc, etc. Just brand yourself as a person. If you can't think of anything else, just do that. Just identify what kind of a person are you. Say, so Tathagat is here, he had done self-branding recently. He just mentioned that he's Bengali, right? So he used that aspect of his character and branded himself around it. So even that is a good idea. Think about things like these two if you don't want to stick to your, say, professional service that you offer, right? Why this is important is, a lot of times people start with the concept itself that ye logo bana dete hai, and then later on they realize that okay, this is not showing exactly what I wanted to show, right? So it is good to have all these things noted down. before you actually go ahead and get your hands dirty creating the logo itself, right? We are not really getting creative or imaginative as yet. So you can just like, this is just a scribbling exercise. You absolutely don't have to think about how it is going to look or what are the concepts of, like how am I going to show that I am an engineer. Nothing, just write all of this down and then we'll slowly move on to that step, right? Should we go ahead? I suppose everyone's done, right? Okay. So once you do all of this, then you go on to the next step. Typically you spend anything ranging from a few minutes, so we just spend like 5 minutes thinking about this. When bigger brands are doing this exercise, they spend couple of days, even months at a time on understanding their customers or understanding what their brand represents, and that is a major part of the exercise. It's the most time consuming part of the exercise. But right now our branding exercise is not that complicated, so we are just going to go ahead and skip this in a few minutes, right? Step 2 is concept storming, as I would call it. Here basically what you have to do is make thousands of concepts around the questions that you just answered. So if you want to show that you are an engineer or an artist or an architect or whatever, just draw out thousands of concepts to show that in a logo mark or in a branding guideline identity or so on, right? Just make different ways in which you might want to show that. So write your name, maybe make symbols, make rules that you would want to show that in. Don't stick to just symbols. Your branding can be without a logo too, but right now let's keep it simple. Just make a logo out of it, right? So whatever you want to show, so for example, say he wants to show that he is an architect, just start drawing things that for you represent architecture, right? Everyone do that, and you will have hundreds of different concepts in which you can show your thing. Right now it just has to be a rough sketch just to show the concept. You can even write the concept down, that if I am an architect, I am just showing the graphing tools and so on or whatever, right? Or I am just showing a structure, I am using a letter of my name to show that structure and so on. Write down all these. Right now it is the time to go creative and think about all these concepts that you have in your mind. Keep drawing those out. I generally draw it in a diary with a pencil and so on. I keep scribbling out. So you have to churn out at least like 30 to 50 odd concepts before you really get satisfied. Yeah, so that's your next stage. Spend a lot of time on this. What I'm showing on the screen right now is an exercise that was done by an agency to brand the letter W. So there are different ways in which they wrote the same thing or which they made the same thing, right? My personal favorite is this one, but yeah, all of these represent the same letter W, and that is what you have to do. Write your name down in different ways or show architecture or engineering in different ways, right? Everyone got what I'm trying to say, right? Any questions? So I think just draw out like 4 or 5 different things right now, but remember that in the larger picture this thing should really take more time, and you should really go ahead and explore all concepts before you freeze on one and start developing your brand on that concept, right? This is typically the frustrating part of any branding exercise. So you would, like, I generally get blocked after very few ideas. So once I sketch out for like 5 or 10 ideas, I am like, I cannot think anymore. I have exhausted everything. So this is where artists generally get blocked out and they try to borrow inspiration from whatever they are seeing around or other brands or natural inspirations or whatever, right? So yeah, this exercise kind of takes time and a lot of effort and a lot of patience too. Feel free to spread it out over a long time so that you get much better ideas. At some point of time it will just click. Some concepts will seem good on paper, but when you start making them out on your laptops or whatever, they turn out to be not that great. So yeah, go ahead and explore all kinds of concepts right now. What we will do right now today is we'll just pick one sample concept that you guys have sketched, right? And we'll keep developing it further. It's okay if you don't, like, if that's not your favorite concept for today, but we'll just pick one and take it through the rest of the steps that we have. and at some point of time, obviously the speed of this workshop is going to get too fast for you to proceed with the concept, but yeah, we'll just go through the steps with one particular concept in mind and so on. Part of the exercise, remember that you have to think beyond just the logo. Is something that I was trying to say even before. It's a little difficult to explain what I mean here, but say my name starts with A, so I just make something around A, whatever. I just make a triangle as my logo, right? It is more important to think how I'm going to use this logo in my branding. So whenever I'm designing, say this is my visiting card, right? I need to think about things like I'm going to make a pattern with these triangles, right? And use it, or maybe my visiting card is going to be triangle shaped, right? You have to think of this consistent set of guidelines that you are going to form with this concept, right? So your concept doesn't have to be just a logo mark. There are other things about this concept that are more important. Forming that set of guidelines is more important according to me. So think about that too, and that is something that most people neglect when they are forming a branding guideline. And that is why it is not just the logo, but everything else in general. We'll come at a stage where I'll tell you how to think about other things other than the logo itself. But okay, just keep all of that in mind once you're thinking about the concept. Okay, so I suppose all of you have like at least a couple of sketches right now. Is there anyone who has absolutely zero idea of no idea what they are drawing right now? I hope everyone has at least 2 or 3 concepts that they like and that they would like to take forward, right? I hope you guys have one. Okay, all right. Yeah, I see this guy has like exhausted the paper and then moved on. Okay, that's great. Cool. So I'm just moving on to the next step, but make sure you do this part of the exercise before you come ahead, right? Step 3 is fine tuning. So what you see right now on your paper is just a very rough implementation of that particular concept, right? So if I had thought of a triangle for A, this is very rough, right? I cannot just pick this and start using it. So start fine tuning it, and you can fine tune it on the basis of several things. The most basic of which is geometry. Generally what I do is I don't move on to the software aspect, like working on the software part till this step. So I do the concept sketching on paper because it is quick and you can really explore things there. And once you want to fine tune things, take your concepts, make them in Photoshop or in any other graphic software, Illustrator maybe, and then you fine tune them. Then apply geometry, make everything consistent, make all thicknesses consistent, make all the gaps consistent. If your logo has lines, then just use lines everywhere. If your logo is solid, make it solid everywhere, right? So just fine tune your logo, make it really consistent across, right? So this is one logo that I had designed. When it was on paper, it was like a simple sketch of a box and some like lines next to it. But then eventually we wanted to make all the distances equal. We used grids to sort of make everything align, right? All that alignment and all that geometry is a part of fine tuning. So that is what you have to do in the next step, right? So I suppose this is going to take a lot longer than what you might do right now. So and you will have to do this on your laptops, of course. So I don't think we'll go to this step immediately. But you can always take one concept and keep refining it, or keep thinking of things that you might want to use to refine that concept, right? So maybe if you are using a letter to show something, right, this is where it starts looking ugly, right? So if you are using, say, I don't know, so this is my initial, right? If you are using this to show something, say maybe 2 mountains, you want to show 2 mountains in M, right? You want to make that apparent. On paper it might start looking really nice, but when you start fine tuning it, when you start making it in software, when you make all these curves proper and so on, might not look all that good. But it is important to do this part, right? So yeah. So I'll just move on to the next step right now. Yeah. Next is colors. So this is also a part of fine tuning, right? Just like geometry, you have to decide the colors and a set of color palette for your branding. This is generally the trickiest part for me because I really don't know anything other than intuition that I choose my colors upon, unless the color itself is like imparting meaning to it. Say like pink denotes something that is for children or for girls sometimes. No, not generalizing, but that is what happens. Yellow, red, orange are for food, green is for environment and money. There are things, right? There are predefined meanings to colors. If that is the case, if your color has to show some meaning, really lucky. But there are other times when you just have to trivially choose a few colors. That is when it gets tricky. So there is no rule really. Just use intuition. There are a few tools that I am going to tell you for choosing colors. It's really helpful sometimes. So a lot of times what happens is you have to choose a range of colors, right? This tool by Adobe is Cooler. It gives you like 4 or 5 combinations of colors that users have uploaded. There are some really cool combinations, but again it is up to you to decide which colors you want to choose and so on. So I like say this one, this combination, but I don't like say this one, right? So you have to choose it on your own. Again, make sure that you use subtle colors and same shades and tints of like shades and tints of the same colors well. So if you are using say blue, make sure you use dark, light blue for showing different things, right? A very good tool again to show that is this video by Google. It's called Palette Perfect. I don't have the video with me right now, but I just put this in the slide today. You can Google Palette Perfect and just watch this video. It's really good. It's a really good guideline to use the Google Material Design wala color palette. So they really tell you how you should use different colors when designing their apps, but it is a general guideline for using colors, right? So once you choose your colors, make sure you assign a color to every sort of use case. So if you have a website, make sure you assign colors to a typical hierarchy of sorts, right? So if you have a website or if you have a blog, you have this header, right? That you are going to have all the time, and you are going to have body text, right? These have 2 characteristics. One is the font itself, and the other is the color of the font or so on, right? So make sure you use your colors well here. If you have say blue as your branding color, then maybe this can become blue and all of this can be gray, right? All of it doesn't necessarily have to be blue itself. So use 2 or 3 colors that are in good, like look good with each other. Also don't use a lot of colors unless that itself is like the selling point. Don't use too many colors. I wouldn't suggest using more than 2-3 colors at the same time. But again, there's no fixed rule to choosing colors. So yeah, right. Once you're done with the colors, you have to choose your fonts, right? It's called typography. So when you're choosing your fonts, these are a few things that you should remember: scale, feel, the mediums that you're going to use it in, readability, and combination. Now I'll tell you what each of these are. Scale. So if you want your fonts to look very good even when they are large or even when they are small, you have to use suitable fonts. So for example, you cannot really use like those gothic kind of fonts for your body text, right, in your branding. So use your fonts for the scale that you are going to need them. For websites, for example, you will need very simple fonts that are visible even when they are on a smaller font size. The feel, this is the most important part when you are choosing your fonts. So for example, when someone is branding say architecture, he would choose to give a feel that is more, I don't know how to say it, but it is more geometric maybe, right, as against a more casual font, as against a more round font or whatever. So you would want to retain that geometry to show that aspect of your brand, right? More formal branding would require a serif font. So for example, lawyers or corporate branding or a bank would probably choose a serif font, right? Something which has serifs. I suppose everyone knows serif. So that is what a serif is, right? So for something which is more formal, you would choose a serif font. For something which is more casual, you will choose sans serif fonts and so on. So the feel of your font is really important. Again, to tell you a few resources where you can choose your fonts from, I'll come to the websites that you can really download your fonts from, but there are other places where you can get good font inspirations. I'll just come to that once we go through the other things, right? Mediums, like I said, you have to think about what mediums you are going to communicate your brand through. So you can have print mediums like visiting cards or cards that you print your logo on and give it to someone and so on. You can have digital mediums like blogs, websites, apps and so on, right? So generally for digital mediums, sans serif fonts work well. There are also serif fonts that work well, but yeah. So medium is really important. There are good web fonts specifically for websites, right? Should learn to use those once you are designing a brand that is predominantly on webs, right? Readability, very important. One more thing that is really important is hierarchy. So when you are designing your branding, right, you need to have this, you need to design your hierarchies for consistent use everywhere. So just design a font size for headers, right? So I'm always going to write my headers that are really large, right? And my body that is going to be really small, right? Or maybe I'll write headers as all caps always. I'll choose a typical font for my headers. I'll have a subtitle that is always italics, and then I'll have my body. I'll choose colors, fonts and so on. So there's no real order to colors and fonts and so on. You will probably do that as you go ahead. But yeah, so choosing this hierarchy, assigning it for once and then always sticking to it is the key to good branding, right? So never go out of these specific rules that you once decide. So if you have say 12 point for your headers and 8 points for your body, always stick to that font size, or at least like a proportional scaling up or scaling down of that font size. And finally combination. So generally serif fonts go well with sans serif fonts and vice versa and so on. But again, there are no, this is again like colors, except this is slightly easier because you know what feel a particular font is giving off. But it again is down to your intuition, right? So these are a few resources that have good font inspirations. This one is a collection of different font combinations that are available on Google Fonts. I have the link in the PPT, but all of these are different collections of good fonts. So if you see, there is a strong hierarchy. You can see that the header is very different from the body, and that is something that looks good. This is not related to branding in any way, but it is good typography in general, right? Again, sans serif with serif, so on. This is the link. Since I will be uploading this PowerPoint, you can like go to this link. There are tons of different font combinations on this blog of sorts. There is also this website called Type Genius. So you can type in a font that you are going to use, and it will give you a combination of other font that goes well along with this. So for example, if you type in Montserrat as your basic font, then it will show that Esteban goes well with it, and it will also give you a few examples of how you can use it. Now again, note that they have this very strong hierarchy in the headers and the body and so on, right? I'll try to explain all these points that we are going through in examples that we'll see later, right? And a few websites to download your fonts are Font Squirrel, the font, Google Font, of course, right? And so on. Whenever you want to choose your font, it is always a good exercise to go ahead and Google what is a good font for showing this kind of an emotion. So if you want to say choose a font for something that is very formal and classy and sleek, just put in those adjectives and Google it and like read about what people suggest for that kind of a use case, right? And finally, use cases. This is something that people tend to forget a lot of times, but I feel this is like 90% of the work, other than of course understanding your customer wala part. This is like the major area in branding, and which is something surprisingly that people don't do. So what I mean by use cases is, once you develop your logo or maybe your logo type, right? You need to find places where you use this logo or where you are going to use it, and then start making those mockups, right? So if you are a brand that is going to make visiting cards and letterheads and an envelope and maybe print it on a CD too if you're a band. You need to go ahead and make all of that in Photoshop and see how it looks, right? And that is the most important, most critical part of this exercise. So there are so many use cases that you can think of. So for example, if you are an architect, I don't know what is the main deliverable that an architect gives, maybe the blueprint, right? I don't know. So maybe how your logo would be positioned on a blueprint is what the most important use case might be. There are obviously more casual use cases, like say if you are a designer, you might just, or if you are a design agency or a random startup, you might want to design a t-shirt that your employees wear, right? If you are a delivery company like FedEx is, you might want to design how the brand is going to look on your vans and so on. So things like these are really important. That is what you have to design at the end of your branding exercise. For example, the logo that we saw earlier, this is how it will look on a t-shirt, right? This is how a particular, so we had done a branding exercise for Handy Home, and this is what it will look for a letterhead and a visiting card and a folder and so on. The important thing here is that you give it a thought, you give all of these things a thought that this is how it is going to look on a particular document. So now when we were designing this logo, I'm not sure if this is visible, but the entire concept was that there is a house and there is also a tick inside the house, right? So just to show that things are getting done or something like that. So we did not really leave the logo at this. What we did was we designed other houses in a similar pattern around this and so on, which you could see on the visiting card. And that is what I meant by developing a guideline of sorts. So whenever we want to like have an illustration, it will follow this particular style of design, right? It will always have that line work around it, or it will always have those houses and one particular house that has a tick inside. You have to design those consistent guidelines that you can see, right? So yeah, design as many use cases as you can think for your branding. Think of different objects that you might have your logo on, and yeah, use that. This can be extremely casual. So for example, when I was designing my brand recently, I thought what is it that I really want to associate myself with, and I thought traveling is something that I really like doing. So I designed things like a postage stamp, which is like very close to traveling. People generally send postcards. I will also design, say, maybe those tags that you have on your luggage, things like those, right? Which are very personal to me and which is where I would want to use my self branding. So yeah, think of all these interesting use cases and create those when you make your brand, right? And finally, presentation. So I remember this one, in fact my first branding exercise, what happened was I put in a lot of effort. I made a logo, I made everything around it, and what I did at the end was I just showed that one screenshot of the logo to the client, so that this is what I think should be the logo. And what happened was he was like, okay, this is very simple, I don't really buy it, I don't like this logo. But I thought that was like one of the best logos that I've designed, and I really couldn't go ahead and think of other concepts because I was so stuck up on that one particular concept. And I was very confident that that is really good, the underlying thought is really good. So what I did was, instead of designing another concept, I went ahead and sort of made the entire document to show how I arrived at that logo. So I used all these steps, right? And I made a nicely designed document to show that this is how I chose the geometry. The entire logo is made with circles and squares and so on. This is how these are the fonts. This is how you are going to use this elsewhere. These are the colors. These are all the colors and so on. And finally, the logo itself at the end, right? What this did was I took the client through the entire process of designing, and it gave him like a lot more insight into what the logo was actually about, and that really makes your logo shine out more. Bigger brands also develop this sort of usage guideline, which is to show that if this is my logo, then always use it like straight, always leave this space around my logo and so on. Like bigger brands like Nike, Apple always do that. I don't think it's necessary at this stage, but that is also a part of this presentation, a branding guideline of sorts that you design, right? So I'll just take you through a sample branding guideline that I had made, just to give you a better idea of what it is all about, right? So this is a brand that we had made. It's called Lintel. Uh, so again, a sample use case, how that logo is going to be used on their website cover or so on, right? This was their tagline, prepare to enter. This was the geometry. Now it's very simple. There's no real need of geometry, but just to put it in the branding guideline, right? The size and icons. So how it is going to look at different sizes, since we had thought of that initially, right? That is a constraint. How different icons are going to look, or some combinations of different icons and so on. What are different fonts that I am going to use. So notice that I am always going to use this particular type of fonts for this particular guide, for this particular branding is what I am saying, and this is the geometry for the typeface, right? The colors and the use cases, again just mention all the use cases here, how it is going to look on a phone and so on. You can find like now this is not like an actual phone with the actual thing and then take a photo of that. What you do is you download mockups that you will get on the internet. Mockups are your Photoshop files. They have a special layer called Smart Object. You just have to double click that and put your logo on the file that open and save it, and it will automatically like render out this kind of scene for you where you have your logo in that particular use case. Just try it out. You will find mockups for phone screens, you will find them for visiting cards, you will find them for absolutely everything. Like there's a mockup for beer bottle and so on, like everything has a mockup, right? So this is a typical branding guideline, right? Hope you enjoyed. I'll just go through like a couple more examples to give you a better idea of how you can take your concepts ahead. For people who came late, I'm sorry, like we were really far ahead in the session too. If you want, I am definitely going to post this PowerPoint presentation, and there's a video that's being recorded. So yeah, you can actually use branding to earn a lot of money. Frankly, it's not that huge an exercise as website development or designing is, but yeah, and a lot of startups really need to brand themselves on early stages. So from whatever process you have learned today, you can apply it to design brand of a startup, and they'll pay you some money for it. So when I was taking this session initially, I had a few startups who approached me, and then I asked students to design branding for them. That is not happening right now, but yeah. So I'll just show you a recent branding exercise that I had done for my own branding guidelines, and then we can move on to see if you guys have any doubts, right? So I was thinking of designing a branding guideline for myself, something that most of us were doing right now, self-branding, which I think is one of the most difficult branding exercises, because it's very difficult to decide what I want to show about myself. There are just so many things that you have in your mind about yourself. So I thought I'll just make things with squares. I'll stick to straight lines, and that would be my main rule for branding. And then I'll make a small logo of sorts. So I tried these various combinations out, and I chose one out of these. So I tried to explain what is the meaning of my name. This is the branding guideline that I was talking about. Sort of write everything down in one big document, right? I chose different colors. What are the kind of colors that I want to show or use? Made a few use cases, right? This was the postage stamp that I was talking about, right? That's it. So this is the kind of branding guideline that you can possibly make with any of the concepts that you have. It would be interesting to hear what are your thoughts on this too, but yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions, now is the time. Yeah. Yeah. So just go ahead and Google mockup for whatever mockup you want. Say you want a mockup for a visiting card. There's this website, by the way, it's called Graphic Burger, and you have very good mockups there. But otherwise, you can Google just mockups. You will get PSD files to download for free, and yeah, license free too. So yeah. Any other questions?
Does a logo necessarily need to have a silhouette alternative? I mean, because for all good logos, I mean,
There are.
whether they are colored or they are silhouette, they look equally good. So
So nice observation there. Uh, no, there's no real rule that your logo has to have a silhouette combination, silhouette parallel or so on. But good logos are generally very generic, right? They are very simple shapes that you can like draw with your hand, and they are very easily identifiable. Uh, so they generally have a silhouette parallel, right? But it's not necessary. So there are complicated logos which will have like an illustration of sorts and so on, which are equally good logos, but they're just not that famous. Famous brands generally have very simple logos. They want to dumb it down, maybe. So hence the happy coincidence exists, but there's no real rule, to be frank.
I mean, suppose we are printing on T-shirts or whatever,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe our printer is not that good. I mean, we need to generate a lot, so maybe we are using a cheap printer to print T-shirts or
Right.
logos. So a complicated logo with lots of colors maybe will be inconvenient at that time. So a
Right.
silhouette one just uses a basic color, and then we can
Right.
easily get lots of takeouts
Right.
of that. So
Good thought. So yeah, this is a classic example of what we went when we said constraints, right? So maybe your printer is your constraint. Generally, like when we are designing, we like never think about such kind of constraints that might happen, like practical because of money or so on. Branding is like, but yeah. So if you have a specific constraint, then you design accordingly, right? Alternately, maybe your logo has a lot of colors and it has a lot of illustrations and it is complicated, and that is how you want it to be. Your t-shirt design can be different, but it can follow similar rules, right? Or it can follow that mark. So for example, here my logo is this particular thing, right? Sometimes I use it in color, sometimes I use it in line. There's also one illustration that I had made which was just like very thin lines on a plain background. So there is something that is common between the two. Maybe the design style is not common, right? But it is something that comes across as common between the two. So if you can keep something common between your t-shirt and your logo, that does that. The key is to be consistent across, like using one concept or one design style. Or does that answer your question? Anything else? Did anyone have a concept about the brand that they were designing and they really liked it or so on? Yeah. So what were you designing for? Just tell everyone.
So I was kind of designing a logo for an architect, like architecture company.
Right.
something like that.
Okay.
This one.
You might want to show it to everyone. So he was designing a logo for. He was self-branding as an architect. So this is the concept that he came
So
up
the
with. Yeah.
company's name is Destiny, and its logo is kind of D, like.
Right. So you have buildings inside your logo and so on. Right. So you use uh, the image of a building to portray that he was an architect. Right. So good concept. That's what you. So the next step is making this in Photoshop, fine tuning it, right? Thinking of other things on how you are going to show this elsewhere and so on. Right. Good idea. Anyone else who had their concept that they like? तथा तू बता दे तूने जो डिज़ाइन किया तेरा जो कॉन्सेप्ट था वो बता।
Yeah, I'm Bengali and my initial is Ta. This is in Bengali. So, and I think I am an introvert. So, I made my logo something like this. Like, sort of fetus like structure, like to show that I am
Introvert.
introvert.
Right.
And this is the Ta. And it's in a circle. Like, I wanted it to be like in a circle
Yeah, it sometimes logos fit well in a circle or in a square, and it becomes easy for us to apply those in different use cases. So it's a good idea to keep it geometric and so on, right? So yeah, that was a good idea, right? Okay, any more questions or any other thoughts that you guys have? All right. All right. So thanks for coming.